All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Can you hear me? Everything's good on your end? You can talk now.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, great. Awesome. They're starting to roll in right now. What's up, Tranisha? Tranisha, you have been missed, girl. Where you been? What's up, Nika? Hopefully you're not burning down the Achafalaya restaurant. Glad you're here. You made it. Ladies and gents, I know we have some gents that usually come in. We have a very special guest. She is cool as shit. Y'all just don't know. I have like talked this lady's head off for like the past couple of days, weeks since we've met. This is Candice Thomas. And y'all know what time it is, right? Every time we have a new guest, I always say, we have a new guest. And you're like, well, who the hell is this? So let me tell you who it is. Who is Candice Thomas? Well, she was an accountant for the federal government for 15 years by day. And by night, she was a psychic or intuitive, as she would say. Interesting, right? Well, she teaches people how to use their own intuition to achieve life changing results for themselves, their clients, and their communities. At one time, she worked a lot or very heavily with entrepreneurs. Now, while most people recognize, right, that intuition is a powerful resource, not many people are familiar with what, of course, my computer froze up, with what being intuitive means or how they can use that ability to help their life or their career. Now, Candice has been featured on Bustle, Brit Co, Thrive Global, and a host of podcasts, and she is here on I Be Damn Carpool Conversations. So thank you very much, Candice, for being here.
Danica, thank you for having me. You talked me up, and now I feel a little bit of pressure like, ooh, I have to be somewhat good. But it's going to be fine. It's fine. It's fine. No pressure.
Yes, you're going to do a wonderful job because let me tell you something. You opened my mind to a lot. I just thought, oh, let's just have an interesting topic and see how it goes. Well, it went pretty damn good, I might say. So, ladies, I'm about to tell you about. We're gonna tell you about everything. Everything you're probably having in your mind. You're like, okay, so what does this mean? Psychic? What? Intuitive? Intuition? I have a woman's intuition. Is that the same thing? Well, I told her initially when I asked, would you be willing to be on my show? She said, yeah, sure. I said, but let me tell you something. I live in Louisiana, child. This is the Bible Belt. So I don't want people to start beating you across the brow with a Bible and saying, you are a devil. Get out of here. But it's nothing like that. Let's kind of just give a little bit of a background so we can get right into the questions. Tell me exactly when you said that you are a psychic or intuitive, what does that mean?
So let me just start off with a definition of intuition. And just to demystify it, being intuitive only means that you have information, you know something for no reason other than that you intuited it. You just know it. So when you walk into a place and you have a feeling about it, or when you meet a person, you have a feeling about them, that's intuition. You know something, and it's hard for people to trust it because it doesn't make any sense. So we can start there. I really like to make intuition, psychic, unsexy. I unsexy it all the freaking time because when people hear words like psychic or intuitive, they get triggered. They think of like the 1-900 numbers, or they think of something that's evil or demonic, depending on their faith, their religion that they come into. So for me, the difference between being intuitive and being psychic, intuitive is more we all get information for ourselves all the time, actually, and we can tune into it and use it to help create the life that we want to go. When we're operating in a more psychic or mediumistic way, that's when we're doing it for ourselves, super intentional. But a part of psychic is being able to read for other people as well. So I would say that's the biggest difference. But the way that
Right.
I teach people is it's really about what is intuition, connecting to intuition is really the language of the soul, and where our soul is still connected with the divine presence that some people call God or source or all that is. So when I talk to people who might be Christian, let's say, they will say, Jesus put it on my heart to, or God put it on my heart to. Or if I talk to people who are more even atheists, will say, it's just coming from my subconscious brain pulled this forward. So I understand that the words might seem super sexy and awesome, but I
Yeah.
would not get too hung up on the labels. I really want to focus on our experiences, because almost everyone I've talked to has had that moment, had that experience where it was totally intuitive, and it might not have fit the
Mhm.
box of what you thought being psychic or being an intuitive was.
Right. So when you mentioned that people tell you, I've always had that feeling. So how do you differentiate between, like, oh, it's a gut, or I feel it in my heart, or am I a lump in my throat? How do you recognize intuition beyond that?
Okay, first things first, intuition is different for every single person. This is why people don't think they're intuitive, or they think their intuition is wrong or broken, because it's not just a gut feeling. Some people don't get physical sensation. Some people just get a knowing. So really quickly, uh, every 1.0 version of your five senses plus your thinking brain, you have a 2.0 version of that, which is your intuition. So you might see things, you might hear things, you might know things for no other reason than you just know them. And you get this physical feeling like, oh, this is correct. You might also feel in your body like that touch sensation, where a lot of people are very, very empathic, very sensitive to just information around them. Another word for information is energy. I like to use information again to make it unsexy. So the way that we receive intuitive guidance varies from person to person. One of the strongest ways that people receive information is not just in their stomach, not just in their gut, but their whole entire freaking body. And that's different too. So the thing is about the body is, once you start understanding and paying attention to who you are and how you're actually physically feeling, you start to get this whole language of intuition, and your intuition will be consistent with you. So, for example, if I meet someone and they're lying to me, I get a tugging sensation in my stomach, almost as though there's a string and someone's pulling on it. And if I meet another person who's lying to me, I get the same sensation even before we've had a conversation. If they have like the intention to lie, like my body's giving me a hit. Another one of my friends, when she's about to come into a great opportunity, her palm itches, which I found out was like an old wives' tale or something, but her palm literally itches, and then that means something good. If my palm itches, I've got poison oak or poison ivy or something. Like it's completely different. It doesn't make any sense. So when people are trying to learn about intuition, they usually focus on, they want to see things with their eyes, or they want to hear things with their ears, or they talk to people who have those experiences, and they don't realize, well, what is your body saying? Because your body is actually one of the strongest ways we can get information, and you have to kind of build a psychic dictionary. So when something's coming from our imagination or our thoughts, it has emotion attached to it. Intuition is not the same as emotional information. It's completely different, which is why people don't trust it. So we get this like thought that pops into our mind. Let's say you meet a person, you get a sensation in your body, and then you get this knowing like, this isn't the person for me. But then something clicks over in your brain that goes, oh, but you're trying to be a good person. And remember, you're just judging someone. And then there's an emotion where it feels so right. And this is what trips people up, because intuition, because it doesn't feel like anything, people think it's not real, when it's like our emotions are tied to our humans. So our thoughts, our limiting beliefs, our emotional wounds and our pain and all that stuff, very emotional. Intuition, straight direct line from our soul, from our spirit, and that divine presence. So it doesn't care about it doesn't care about our limitations. It doesn't matter if we're not good enough or if we haven't done the work. Our intuition just gives us the information anyway, but then it stops
So
to make sense. Go ahead.
So I gotta ask you this, because you're giving me a lot right now. I
I
think, and
know.
it's great information. But now that, okay, so I know where it comes from, right? So one of your exercises, and I watched your webinar that you had. I had, I'm trying to do my research, and don't mind me, I'm stalking you. That's fine, right? So
It
that's
happens.
what I do. Yeah, but you mentioned about breathing.
Yes.
Of course, you're gonna do an exercise at the end of this, but you talked about breathing and how that helps. And I told you, I said, I don't breathe like talking about. I don't like really take really long deep breaths unless maybe I'm in meditation or something like that. But I really don't sit. Sometimes I'm sitting here, I'm not breathing. Like, are you breathing, child? You're like, you're messing up your life. You're not breathing. So tell me about how do you tap into intuition and really say, okay, that's not a gut feeling. There's something trying to communicate to me.
Well, the most important thing is to be honest. People are always trying to be positive. Being positive sucks. Your goal is to be real. And people don't even know that they're not even being real. So if you really want to be intuitive, are you brave enough to accept that you want things and that you want the things that you want and that you don't want the things that you don't want? So you don't even have to change or fix it. Are you even willing to acknowledge this is the life I want to live and I either am living it or I'm not living it or whatever? It's like starting there. And a part of that is being, when I spoke about breathing in my webinar, a lot of people are disconnected from their entire body. They're in their head and they're still trying to perform for someone. They're still trying to live someone else's life because they think they'll get something. And it is super scary and triggering for folks to just get still and be like, yeah, I'm just going to, instead of holding my breath, am I breathing? What am I feeling in my body? And then what's going on with me right now? And when you authentically listen to who you are and pay attention to who you are, you will get these insights. They just come to you. And it's people, in all the years I've been doing this professionally since 2011, no one has an issue with getting intuitive guidance. They have an issue with trusting it. Everyone always thinks when they come to my classes or workshops that they're going to learn how to get guidance. And it's like all I teach them is, hey, here's how to recognize what you're already receiving. If you're brave enough, like, do you choose to accept your mission? And so I would say first step, which leads into the exercise that we'll do, is really acknowledging what is it that you would like and be super honest and super clear about it. So people will usually create long lists of things, whether it's a romantic partner or whether it's business or career. It's like, oh, here's my list. And I invite everyone to consider that most of your list is trash. You don't care about it. You just think that you do because someone has told you, like, these are the stepping stones that you need to take to get the thing that you want. So the more clear that you can be and honest that you can be, it's the better. So, and especially with women, and I know there are men listening too, so probably some men as well. But I see with women, we're constantly shamed for wanting things. So I work with one woman, and she's like, I just really want to be a stay-at-home mom with and like take care of a family. That's like my ultimate goal. And she feels shame because, oh, shouldn't I be doing something more? You talk to another woman who's like, I don't want to be a mom. I don't want to get into a relationship. I want to do this CEO thing. She feels shamed because she should be more caring. It's like you can't win for losing in our society.
Right.
And so then we start the list of, well, what I really want is here, but maybe I should also want these things. And it's like, no. It's to start getting very clear with who you are and what you want in the moment, in the right now. So right now, if you're not happy with something, just be present with what's going on in your physical body as you think about the things that you're not happy with, like literally. And everyone can do this right now. If you're able to, just tune into how does your body feel? Like, are you really here with us? Or are you a million miles ahead of me thinking about what you want to ask or what you want to say or how you don't believe? Like, where are you right now? Are you even here? And that's the first step. And then intuitive guidance comes very quickly and you might see it. And when I say see it, it doesn't mean necessarily with your eyeballs. Some people can do that, but you might get an image in your mind. You might hear something with your ears, or you might hear a little voice in your head. And in the beginning, it might sound like the normal voice in your head that just talks a bunch of shit and goes on and on and on. But if you
Yeah.
pay attention, you'll start noticing that the voice does sound different than your like ego mind chatter voice. But it takes time and practice and continual willingness to say, yeah, I want to get this insight. I want to know what's happening. And then also what's popping in my mind to say is asking questions. So intuition is really good at responding to things. So asking the right kinds of questions can help your intuition give you guidance on the spot. That's one of the quickest ways to do that, which we'll practice in a second here.
Right. And let me go ahead and first of all, thank you. I see India is here. I saw a couple of names. Mary is here, and thank you, India, for tagging so many people. I appreciated getting them involved because this is some good information. I'm like, that get it all in. India says, right, you want what you want. You know you. Don't let others attempt to change what you want to make them comfortable. So let me ask you, we talked about this the other day. I said, I felt like my my mom and my sister are a little touched now. She probably would scorn me for saying this because she's like, I go to church, I believe in God.
Right.
But I think that she and my sister are touched, meaning they have had some communication. Let's just say that. And I said, I don't think I do. And I told her, I said, because I think if anything showed itself to me, baby, I just die. Like it's probably like, don't mess with her because she's not prepared. Can you open and close that door anytime you want, or is it already there and you just haven't tapped into it?
Here's the part. It's not like paranormal activity. It's not, and it's not like the sixth sense. It's kind of like the sixth sense for some people some of the time. What you're doing when you're using your intuition on purpose is forming a partnership. So people have this belief that if you learn your intuition, you're going to open this door and then your life's going to be out of control and you're going to see weird, scary shit and possessions. And whenever you see movies about spirit and intuition, it's always evil. There's not one movie where it's like, oh, and my experience actually doing the work and working with people is it's so joyous. Spirit is extremely funny, doesn't take itself seriously, extremely powerful, and extremely heart centered. It's not scary. You do have
Okay.
the option to, it's not even an option. Our goal is to be spirit partners, not spirit slaves. So there might be someone who's watching and they do feel like you're empathic and you're constantly overwhelmed by negative energy and other people's stuff. And I invite you to consider, and this is not a lot of people talk about this, but have you stepped up instead of just accepting that your life is hard and it sucks being spiritual or open? Have you thought about, hey, spirit, I don't want to experience this. I have this gift and ability. I want to work with people I enjoy. I don't want to get information in this way. And I work with, I've had a couple clients with very psychic kids, and the kids will start picking up and have very scary dreams. And it's like, hey, look, you can set boundaries. It's same as the real world,
Okay.
metaphysical world, exact same. So you get to call the shots and say, hey, I don't want to see scary shit. So Danica, if you know that will freak you out, that's probably why that hasn't developed. But I was telling Danica, if it's okay to share with your audience, one of her gifts is
Yeah.
claircognizance. She just knows things. She doesn't know why she knows things. She just knows. And one of her superpowers is she can walk into a room and look at a person and kind of get a big picture like, oh, if they were to say one sentence like, I'm trying to do this, it'd be like, oh, all you have to do is XYZ, and she can help them. And it will make so much sense. But if you were to ask her, how did you know that? She might say something like, it's just common sense. I mean, the writing was on the wall. It's so clear. It's like,
You. Oh,
right? Like, not common sense. That's an intuitive ability called claircognizance, where you just know.
wait, wait, wait. Oh, are you back? Okay, I can hear you. So let's see if I can bring you back in. Child, you started talking about all this greatness.
I know. It's I see in the chat they're like, "Don't go into the light." That's hilarious.
Right. Yeah.
Another
Okay.
super scary movie about being psychic. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. Back.
Sorry
I
about
think we.
that.
No, it's not your problem. I don't know why this happens to me. It's just like unbelievable. Okay, so I think we're back. It says we're still live. So I want to reclaim my time with you. I'm reclaiming my time. All right. So if we can, if you recall where you were, because let me just put this up because don't go into the light, Carol. This is so crazy. All right, so let me pick up where you were. So if y'all can see us, say hey, hey, give me some kind of sign. What's up, Marcel? Thanks for coming through. We still holding strong. So let's go.
Yeah. So I was talking about. I picked up with you. Your claircognizant, where you have a strong knowing. You have all of them. So when you hear stuff like, "Oh, am I clairvoyant?" Everybody has everything. You have all the things, but there are certain senses that are stronger than others. Clairvoyance is the popular kid. That's the one where people see things. And everyone always assumes if they could see things, they would really trust their intuition, but that's not the case. My students who see things start feeling like, oh, I wish I could just feel things. It's just the grass is always greener. So I was saying, when I talked with you, it was like very clear. Your strongest gift is you just know things, and that can be one of the hardest things to trust because you don't see it, you don't hear it necessarily, you just know it, and then you also have a feeling that your knowing is correct, like initially, and then the immediate reaction is your mind, imagination, ego. So intuition will always be first. Your immediate second reaction is your human processing information from spirit.
Okay, very interesting. I needed you to say that because you blew my mind yesterday, and I was like, "What?" So look, y'all, don't be calling me talking about something. Danica, tell me what my future's gonna. I don't even know my own. Okay, I'm trying to get my life together, and
Right.
Candice is trying to help me hone in on my skills. So I know that your time is valuable. I've been asking for folks to send us some questions if they have any questions or comments, but I know, like I said, your time is valuable, but I want to get to the exercise. So
Yeah.
can you get with the exercise and tell us what we need to do?
Yeah. So first of all, and Danica, if you would like, I have a one-page document too that I could like send you, and you could get it out to your listeners or followers if that would help. Um,
Yes, thank
and yeah, we can. This exercise, it's all about here's how to get clear guidance for yourself. So if you want more clarity, if you want to get better discernment, it's just a quick technique that you can do to get you started on learning how your intuition is speaking with you.
you. Okay.
So to do it, I just invite everyone here. Normally, I would say if you have something that you would really like to experience or to get or to do, you would focus on that. But we don't have to. You don't have to focus on anything if you don't want to. And we're going to start just by taking 3 deep breaths into our body and really feel the lower part of your stomach expand, breathing out in whatever way is easy and comfortable. And I would recommend, if you're a person who has a hard time feeling connected to yourself, to close your eyes, or just closing your eyes if that feels best. If you're a person where you feel more connected with your eyes open, you can do that. It's whatever you would like. There's no wrong way. But eyes closed, if you're not used to working with your intuition, I would recommend 3 deep breaths in your body, and then scanning yourself from head to toe and really noticing where in your body does anything feel uncomfortable, whether it's tight, whether it's heavy. Even if there are parts of your body that do feel comfortable, just notice what's really going on with you right now, where you might still be carrying tension, such as clenching your jaw or holding your shoulders or holding yourself in a certain way, and start to be present with how you feel. And then we're going to expand your awareness just a little bit into how you feel emotionally, connecting in with what emotions are showing up for you the strongest. And there might be very weak emotions, there might be multiple emotions. You might not really feel emotional. That's cool. Expanding your awareness with that. If you do perceive emotions, where are your emotions connecting to your body? Such as, are you feeling anxiety around your upper chest area? Are you feeling calm and peaceful, and that's more in your stomach or throughout your entire body? Does it feel like the left side of you is okay, but the right side isn't? Trust your very first impression. Don't overthink it. Just notice what's happening with your emotions and your body, and just breathe. With every breath you take, we're just going to give yourself permission to just be here and to just be now. Everyone tries to do, we're always trying to do things, and this is your time to just be exactly who you are, because exactly who you are is good enough. And so just thinking about if there is something that you would like to experience, whether it's clear in your mind or not, just what would be something that you would really like to have or do or to continue. And as best as you can, just imagine what it would be like if you had that thing, if you did that thing, if you were that thing. And it could be very high level. For some people, it's I just want to feel free. For other people, it's very specific, but just tuning into how that feels if you were to get that. And if you're not sure, just make it up. What would you like it to feel like? What would you like it to be like? taking a deep breath again. And we're just going to consciously, with our intention, connect to our highest self, to our inner guidance, our soul self, the highest healing, most loving, advanced, like divine presence energy. Only that's in our highest good and the highest good of all. Anything to the contrary can't even get close to us. Make sure that you're breathing and not holding your breath. And so we're just going to ask the question, this thing that I want the most, what's in my highest and best interest to know right now to get this thing that I would like to have or experience or do? And trust your very first impression, which might be one word, it might be a color, it might be a sound, it might be a memory, might be an image. Again, the question is, hey, what's in my highest and best interest to know right now? And I invite you to consider, are you really trusting exactly what you're receiving, or is a part of you already trying to dismiss it or think that it's lame? And a second question we'll ask, what's in my highest and best interest to let go of right now? And trust again what presents, what comes up for you. And of course, it might be something that you already know because your intuition's been trying to tell you all this time, but what's in your highest and best interest to let go of? And last question we'll ask, what's in your highest and best interest to receive right now? And my guidance is saying to just breathe on that. What's in your highest and best interest to receive? And with your permission, and only with your permission and intention, we just invite that divine presence that some call source or God or all that is, or whatever your word is for it, to just activate that divine intelligence within you, that knowing of, this is exactly what I need. Whether your human is consciously aware of it or not, just breathe. Just take a few deep breaths, and when you're ready, if your eyes are closed, open them. And I actually have a longer version where we actually go into a meditation with that exercise on my website. And I know the most important part of that exercise is getting yourself into a place where you're being real. First step of being intuitive is be real. How am I thinking? What do I want? How am I really feeling in my body? How am I really feeling emotionally? And then choosing to get yourself to a place where it's like, this is what I would like to experience. And from that centered place, saying, all right, intuition, what have you got to tell me? And I use very specific languaging, but you can say whatever it is that you want from spirit. So you don't have to worry about, people get really hung up on, well, what kinds of beings do I ask for what? I just say the word spirit because that's whoever's in the highest healing and the best that can help me. And trust it.
Okay. Wow. I'm like still there. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was awesome. I hope, ladies and gents, hopefully you got something out of it. And what is your website? Is it CandiceThomasintuitive.com?
CandiceThomasintuitive.com. Yep.
Got that. So I just put that in the comments. I am going to go home and actually do this exercise again. You guys can get in contact with her through her website. You can also check her out on Instagram and also on Facebook. And now, are you ready? Ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen, you guys know I told her this is actually one of the really, really fun parts of the show, and that is rapid fire. It's time for the rapid fire questions. And I think you're going to be good at this. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, awesome. All right. Have you been told you look like someone famous?
Um, I've been told I look like regular people, and I actually do. I've seen my clones, like there are 5 of me running around, and we really do look like we're twins. It's bizarre, but not so much
What?
famous people. Yeah, it's like one time this woman at a mall broke down and just started crying, and then she hugged me, and I freaked out because she didn't. She just did it, right? And And
This
then,
is before COVID.
yeah, before COVID, yeah. And then she showed me a picture of her granddaughter, and it was so weird. It was like looking at a younger version of myself. It was weird.
Wow. So you've been able to see these people face to face.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay. Well, number two, that went better than I expected. If someone made a movie of your life with drama, a comedy, a romantic comedy, action film, or sci-fi, why?
I think it would probably be a mix of sci-fi comedy, like maybe a dramedy with some science fiction elements.
Okay.
My life is pretty absurd. People think being intuitive or psychic, because everything that talks about it is so serious and so heavy, but it's really ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. And it really helps people in a tremendous way. There's not enough about the joy of being able to have this connection to source. So my life
Okay.
is really silly. Like, bad things happen for sure, challenges for sure, but it's also this lightness with everything. Everything's hilarious to me.
Okay. That's it. And I would have never known. I would have thought everything in your life was just serious. You always had to be. But I guess you probably get caught up with a lot of like crazy questions and people coming up to you with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's I find most people are very interesting and they don't think that they are. And if you think about the crazy stuff that happens to all of us in our day to day, it's like it's so absurd. It doesn't make any sense. It's nonsensical. It's like we're all depending on how you view things. Certainly, I can't say that someone's life is a comedy, but I find for me it is. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. This is number three. If you had a warning label, what would it say?
Warning, loudmouth, like once activated, will not stop talking. So, like,
All right, cool.
no
Okay.
filter. That's my other problem is no filter.
I would have never thought that about you. Because I
I have
tell
to
people all
try
the time,
very
that's no
hard. I
such
have to
thing.
like I've trained myself well, but like yeah.
Girl, we let it flow. Let it go and let it flow. Okay. So number four, do you have any superstitions?
Yeah. I do. It's and I know they're really ridiculous. So let's just say I know it's ridiculous. So one of the things that I have is, and this is going to sound racist, I guess, because I'm stereotyping all of Black people, but damn it, like, so I don't do ghosts. If you tell me, hey, Candice, I think my house is haunted, I will literally say to you, hey, I'm still Black, and I'm not going to go to your haunted fucking house. Like, sorry, that's not me. Like, what? And I know that's contradictory. I know that's contradictory because it's like, well, I was a medium, so I connect with people who have died and are on the other side, but they went all the way over. They crossed over. They're not like earthbound spirits. And I know it's not that big a deal, but something in my mind is like, you use the word ghost. Weird. When I first started out, and I came from accounting, and then my psychic abilities kind of opened up overnight, like out of nowhere, and I had to learn what was happening to me. And when people found out I was psychic, I would get these invitations like, hey, Candice, want to get in my car? And I'm like, okay. And they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, what do you mean? And like, someone died here. And I'm like, I'm out. Like, nope, this isn't cool to me. Like, people just think that you're into weird shit. And I'm like, still Black. I'm still Black. No, I don't want to. And I know that's offensive because I have a lot of Black medium friends they do the work. They really believe in it. It's not scary. But for me personally, that's one of my superstitions. If you tell me something's haunted, I'm like, Candace, out. Nope.
That's what I told you. That's what I wanted as number four. And Adele says she doesn't sleep with mirrors facing her. So yeah, that's another. Oh my God, you got me choking. Okay, so number five, the last question is: what's the worst pickup line you've ever dished out or you received?
There's so many. I'm like bad, so bad at it. Um, Oh, I am mortified. I am mortified. So there was this guy, and he was working at a theme park, and he had like, so we do all these lists, right? And I'm supposed to be spiritually evolved, like, oh, I want a person who is like on my level and does the work. But real talk between us ladies and guys, all it takes is an 8-pack, and I'm like, oh, hello. So there was this guy at the amusement park who had his 8-pack is my kryptonite. I don't know what that's about. I'm still working on it. But so there was a guy at an amusement park and he had his shirt off and it was he was just like dripping sweat. And I went, "You're hot." And I'm like mortified even thinking about that. He just gave me this look like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a head out," because it was bad. It was real bad. Like, that makes me cringe. I will say I was in my 20s when I did that stupid nonsense. I was in my 20s at the time, and I'm much older now. But yeah, so that's the cringiest thing I've said to someone.
This went much better than I expected. I loved it. That was awesome. Thank you so much for opening our minds to something different, especially for some of us ladies who have never really delved into this. I, for one, would have never thought I had any type of ability, except to tell you when I told you about don't come over here with ghosts, because I too would, ghost time like, baby, don't mess with her because she just ain't having it. They're like, no, don't mess with her. But again, thank you so much. As always, it's a pleasure, and I know that this might be a little bit much, but if we wanted to have you come back, would you come back?
Yeah, and hopefully with a better internet connection. I tried to be in my garage, and the system failed me. So I don't know. There's no place for me to go and
Girl, it's
try to
probably
do
not even
this.
it's probably not even your thing. It might just be me. And like someone said, it might be the spirits messing with me. I don't know.
Could be.
but
Yeah.
but again, thank you so much, and you have a wonderful weekend, or a wonderful week rather, into the weekend. You already got my week started off great. I'm going into work, so see you later. You take care.
Same to you. Thanks.
There we go. I think it stopped.